Welcome students. In previous lecture we have seen how to solve the problems by Big M method. Let us today learn one more method to solve the problems on simplex, that is two-phase method. And what is this two-phase method? Let us see it by an example. The question is solve the following by two-phase method. So here you can see that in question it is already mentioned that you have to solve the problem by two-phase method. And the question is minimize z is equal to 3x1 plus 4x2 subjected to 2x1 plus 3x2 greater than 8, 5x1 plus 2x2 greater than 12, x1 x2 greater than or equal to 0. So purposely I have taken the same problem which we have solved by Big M method just to give you the glimpse of how to solve the same problem by two different methods. So initial step is exactly same. First we have to convert the inequalities into equalities by adding the negative variables. So the first equation will become 2x1 plus 3x2 minus s1 equal to 8, because as it was a greater than sign there, so it will be minus s1 introduced. Similarly for second equation it will be 5x1 plus 2x2 minus s2. Again this minus s2 will remove the greater than inequality sign, and then we have x1 x2, and now two variables are added, so it will be s1 s2 also greater than equal to 0. Now next step is to make this corresponding changes in objective function also such that it should not affect the solution. So we have to make an arrangement of s2 and s1 in the objective function with a coefficient 0 such that it will not affect the objective function. And one more thing we have to do is convert this minimization problem into a maximization problem for easy solving and our method to be uniform. So converting that minimization into a maximization problem, we have to just multiply it by a minus sign. So I will write maximize z is equal to, you can observe here, it is minus 3x1 and minus 4x2. I have just multiplied the entire equation by minus 1 to convert it from a minimization problem to a maximization problem. And as we have said, I have introduced s1 and s2 with a coefficient of 0 with it. Now, as the question says that we have to solve it by two-phase method, let us start with phase 1. What is phase 1? In phase 1, we have to consider only the artificial variable and try to remove it from the solution. We have already seen in the previous classes that artificial variables are the not desirable ones. Hence, they should not remain in the solution. So what we will do in this phase 1, we will consider only the artificial variables and try to take them out of the solution. So that will be the end of phase 1, in which we will eliminate both the artificial variables. How to do that? Let us proceed for the next part. So we will draw our table as it is, what we used to draw in previous problems. The table will be, so the variables are x1, x2, s1 and s2 and b. Now writing the coefficients from the equations, I will get 2, 3, minus 1, 0, 8, 5, 2, 0, minus 1 and 12. So this I have put all the coefficients from the equations which were given to us. Now you will observe that there is no variable which is giving me an identity matrix. So what I will do, I will introduce two artificial variables a1 and a2, and the matrix will be such that this a1 will have 1 0 and this a2 will have 0 1 as the coefficients in the equation. Next step, what we used to do, we used to write the coefficients from the objective function here at this particular places. But as it is two-phase method, and I have already told that in phase 1 we will consider only the artificial variables. We will consider only artificial variables. Hence, in phase 1, the coefficients of all these variables s1, x1, x2, s2, this all will be 0, because I am considering phase 1 only, in which I will consider only the artificial variables. So with this I will just put 0, 0, 0 and 0 above as the coefficients for various variables. And for a1, a2, what we have to write? We have to write minus 1 as the coefficients in the phase 1. See the difference again. The difference between two-phase method and Big M method is, in Big M method, in the first iteration, we used to write the coefficients of the variables from the objective function, and the coefficient of artificial variable was written as -m. When we switch to the two-phase method, in that for phase 1 what we do, we choose the coefficients of all variables as 0 and the coefficient of artificial variable as -1. That's the only change we have to do in two-phase method, and rest all the things will follow same. So let us start with that. So now we can observe that this a1 and a2 which we have introduced as our artificial variables will become our basic variables. So I will write a1 and a2 here with the corresponding coefficients as -1 and -1. Next step, we will have to find Cj minus Zj value. So its Cj minus Zj will be, for this particular case, for a1 and a2, I can directly write as 0 and 0 because they are basic variables. Cj minus Zj will be 0. For this particular place, what will be the answer? It will be 0, that is Cj, minus of, this will be -1 into 2, that is -2, and -1 into 5 will be -5. So it will be minus of 7. So on computation, I will get 0 minus of -7, answer will be 7. So I'll put here 7, and similarly I will calculate for other variables, which I will get as 5, -1 and -1. Next step is to identify which of the variable is giving me the highest positive. So from Cj minus Zj, the highest positive is 7. So I will say that this variable will enter into the solution. So this will enter into the solution. Now, as one variable is entering the solution, some variable has to also leave the solution. So for leaving variable, what we do? We divide this b with the corresponding column values which is going to enter the solution. So first will be 8 by 2, that will be 4, and for second it will be 12 by 5, which will come around to 2.5. So again we can observe that this value 12 by 5 is the least among the ratio, hence this variable will leave the solution. So my conclusion now is, after first iteration, is x1 is entering the solution and a2 is leaving the solution. So I have taken this table here again, and I will mark the key element wherein it is the intersection of the incoming variable and outgoing variable. So next step is to make this particular value as 1 by doing some row operations, and the best way to do is divide it by the same number itself. That means I will divide this entire row by 5. And also in next iteration, what will happen? This a2 will be get replaced by this x1 by the incoming variable. So let us quickly go to the next iteration, wherein I will just change this x1 with a2, as x1 was the incoming variable. Now again, after finding out this basic variable, next step is to find out what is the coefficient of these variables from the objective function. So here you can see that it is -1 and 0. Also, the ones which are in the basic variables make the identity matrix in that order. So I will write here 1 0 and 0 1 for a1 and x1. And also we have said that to make this 5 as 1, we have to divide this entire row by 5. So I will get the answer as 1, 2 by 5, 0, -1 by 5, 0, 1 by 5, and 12 by 5 respectively. Next step is to find out the values at this particular locations. So let us go by this. For x2 and a1, so this is my corresponding location here. What I need to do, I just need to cross multiply. So it will be 3 multiplied by 5, 15, minus 2 into 2, that is 4. So 15 minus 4, I will get 11, and dividing it by the key element, that is 5, I will get answer as 11 by 5. And similarly, I will calculate for all other requirements, and I will get answers as -1, 2 by 5, -2 by 5, 16 by 5, etc. Next step is to calculate the values of Cj minus Zj, and for that also we know that the ones which are in basic variables also make Cj minus Zj equal to 0. So directly I will write 0 and 0, and for other Cj minus Zj's for other variables, I will calculate again by the simple cross multiplication technique, by which I will get answers as 11 by 5, -1, 2 by 5, and minus 2 by 5. Now what is our observation? Our observation is the highest positive number. The highest positive number among this Cj minus Zj is this one, that is 11 by 5. So what will happen now? This will enter into the solution. Now, as this is the entering variable, someone has to leave the solution, for which we determine the ratio. And for ratio, what we do? We divide this b, we divide with this b with the values in this particular column. That is, for this row I will do 16 by 5 divided by 11 by 5, on which I will get answer as 16 by 11 and 6 for row 1 and row 2 respectively. Now the minimum value is this one, 16 by 11. So this will become my outgoing variable. So what is my conclusion now? Conclusion is A1 will leave the solution and X2 will enter the solution. So let us proceed with that. We have seen that A1 will leave the solution and X2 will enter the solution. So the intersection of both these variables is 11 by 5, which will now become our key element. And what is next step? Next step is to make this key element as 1, and the simple form to convert this into 1 is divide it by the same number. So what I will do, I will divide the entire row by 11 by 5. And one more change which I will do is replace this A1 by new incoming variable, that is X2, in the next iteration. So let us do that and see what values we get in the next table. So again, similar part, X2 replaces by X1. Coefficients of X2 and X1 will be 0, 0 from the objective function in phase 1. Then all the values I will write again by dividing the entire row by 11 by 5. And for second row values, we have one shortcut, that the variables which make the variables which are basic variables forms a identity matrix. So I will write 0, 1 respectively in X2 and X1, and then for the remaining values we have the cross multiplication technique. So with that I will get answers as 2 by 11, minus 3 by 11, minus 2 by 11, 3 by 11 and 20 by 11 respectively. Next stage is to find out Cj minus Zj values. Again, for that we have Cj minus Zj values for the basic variables comes out to be 0 always. So this 2 I will write 0, and for the computations of this value I will apply again cross multiplication technique, by which I will get answers as 0, 0, minus 1 and minus 1. So what some good observations here. You can see that the value of Cj minus Zj for all the variables apart from artificial variable is 0. Hence now we can say that we have completed our phase 1. Also one point observing is, you can observe here we have started with A1 and A2 and now we have ended up in X2 and X1. So we have achieved our target of eliminating A1 and A2 from the solution. So with this I will say that phase 1 ends, as all the artificial variables have been removed from the solution. So now let us begin with the phase 2 part. We have already completed phase 1 part. Now we will start with phase 2. Now what will come in phase 2? We have already eliminated the artificial variables that are A1 and A2. So these variables will not come in phase 2. We will make a new table in which I will consider only these 4 variables that are X1, X2, S1 and S2 with their original coefficients that of in the objective function. So you can see here minus 3, minus 4, 0 and 0. These are the coefficients which were there in the main question. Only in first phase we have considered it to be as 0 because we have considered only the coefficient of artificial variables. So again, proceeding the same way, we know that this X2 and X1 should make identity matrix here. So I will write 0, 1 and 1, 0 in that order. Now for these values, we have to just copy the values of this S1 and S2 from this particular table above. So the values are this: 5 by 11, sorry, minus 5 by 11, 2 by 11, 2 by 11 and minus 3 by 11. I will substitute this here, and also the values of B, that is 16 by 11 and 20 by 11 respectively. So just what we need to do, we have to just copy the about table as the start of the phase 2, just by eliminating the artificial variables. Next step will be find out Cj minus Zj. So Cj minus Zj will be for the variables which are basic, the Cj minus Zj are 0, so I will directly write 0 here. For others, I can calculate by our normal method, that is Cj. So Cj will be 0 minus, it is this one. So it is minus 4 into minus 5 by 11. So it will be 20 by 11, and here it will be minus 6 by 11. So 20 minus 6, it will be minus 14 by 11. And similarly for this also I can calculate as minus 1 by 11. Now what is our observation? Our observation is all the values of Cj minus Zj are either negative or 0. Hence we can say the solution has been reached to its optimum. And now we can find out the optimum value of this B here again by the same technique. And we will get answer as minus 124 by 11. So I will write, as all values of Cj minus Zj are negative or 0, the solution is optimum with a value maximum Z is equal to minus 124 by 11 at x1 is equal to 20 by 11 and x2 is equal to 16 by 11. But our original question was minimization, so I will write answer in place of this maximization. I will write minimization, and I will convert this minus into a positive sign. So I will write here minimum Z is equal to 124 by 11 at x1 is equal to 20 by 11 and x2 as 16 by 11. This completes our solution. So you can see that we have solved the same problem by Big M method and we have got the same answer. So either you solve by two-phase method or Big M method, the solution will remain same. So with this we have completed the entire topic on linear programming problems. The next part of this we will cover in the subsequent classes.